previous lecture we study about the gravitational force and the centripetal force. The gravitational force, the force with which Earth attracts the object towards itself, and the direction of the force is towards the center of the Earth. Then next one is centripetal force. When the object is moving along a circle, that centripetal forces act on that object, and that is also directed towards the center of that circle. One example is, the moon is natural satellite of the Earth, and that moon is continuously moving, that moon is continuously revolving around the Earth. Means some forces act on that moon, and that force is nothing but a centripetal force. Means that moon is moving around the Earth in a circular orbit, then centripetal forces act on that moon, and due to that the moon is continuously revolving around the Earth, and the direction of that centripetal force is towards the center of the Earth. Then now, in this lecture, we study the new point, that is a Kepler's laws of planetary motion. Kepler studied the planetary motion, means that planet revolving around the sun, they must follow some law, and these laws are nothing but a Kepler's laws of planetary motion. In this Kepler's law of planetary motion, one important thing that we have to study, this diagram, that is an ellipse. This diagram is called as an ellipse. Let us learn the three Kepler's law of planetary motion. Before that, one thing is given here, one diagram is given, and such a diagram is called as an ellipse. Means you know that in a circle the radius is constant everywhere, every point on that circle the radius is constant. So here such a diagram is called as an ellipse. In that ellipse there are two focus points. Similarly in a circle there is one center is present, and throughout that center the radius is constant everywhere. Here also the two focus points are present, and in that ellipse this distance, that is any point connected to one focus point and the another focus point, this AF1, AF2, BF1, BF2, addition of this distance AF1, BF1, AF2, BF1, BF2, CF1, CF2, addition of these all distances remains constant. See here, AF1 plus AF2 is equal to BF1 plus BF2 is equal to CF1 plus CF2, and such a diagram is called as an ellipse. Kepler studied the planetary motion. All the planets are revolving around the sun. That planets follow some laws, and that Kepler said that these laws are called as a Kepler's laws of planetary motion. Then we study the first Kepler's law of planetary motion, that is the statement of this Kepler's law of planetary motion, the orbit of the planet is an ellipse. What is meant by orbit of the planet is an ellipse? Means that planets are revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit. Orbit of the planet is an ellipse, means all the planets are revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit, just like this elliptical orbit. Then what is the position of sun? Then here with sun is at one of the foci, means sun is present at one of the focus point. Then what is the Kepler first law of planetary motion? The orbit of the planet is an ellipse with sun is at one of the focus point. Sun is either present at this focus point or present at this focus point. One of the focus point the sun is present. Orbit of the planet is an ellipse with sun is at one of the focus point, and this is a Kepler first law of planetary motion. Then Kepler's second law of planetary motion. Here one line is given. This line, this is the position of sun suppose, and this is the position of planet. This line is connected to planet and the sun. If this planet cover this path AB at a time t, again this planet cover path CD at a time t, and again this planet cover a path EF at a time t, means time required to rotate or to cover this path is constant everywhere. Then Kepler observed that when the time required is same, then that planet cover equal area in an equal interval of time, and this is a Kepler's second law of planetary motion, that is the line joining planet to sun sweeps equal area in an equal interval of time, means this area in an equal interval of time, this planet sweeps equal area in equal interval of time, and this is Kepler's second law of planetary motion. Look here, Kepler's third law of planetary motion. We already see the Kepler first law and the Kepler second law of planetary motion. Here, Kepler third law of planetary motion. Mathematical statement is given: T square is directly proportional to R cube. What is meant by T? Here, T is the time required for a planet to completing one revolution around the sun, and it is a T. Second one is R. What is meant by R? Here, when the planet is revolving around the sun, here distance from sun to planet is not everywhere constant. This distance is variable. Somewhere this distance is very small, somewhere this distance is very large. This is the mean distance from planet to sun, and this is denoted by a letter R. Then, thus Kepler third law of planetary motion states that T square is directly proportional to R cube, that is the square of period of revolution of a planet. T is the period of revolution of a planet. The square of period of revolution of a planet around the sun is directly proportional to cube of mean distance of a planet from the sun. And all this, again I repeat the Kepler three laws of planetary motion. First one is the orbit of the planet is an ellipse, means all the planets are revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit. Where the position of the sun is present at one of the focus point. The orbit of the planet is an ellipse which sun is at one of the focus point. Second law is the line joining here, the line joining from planet to sun, this sweeps equal area in an equal interval of time. After a Kepler's law of planetary motion, again a very important point in this chapter, that is a Newton universal law of gravitation. This law is applicable in the whole universe, and therefore it is called as a Newton universal law of gravitation. According to this law, Newton said that every object in the universe attracts every other object with a definite force. Then what is the magnitude of this? What is the magnitude of this force? How much force is present between these two objects, and then that object are attracted towards each other? For this, Newton derived this law, Newton discovered this law, and that law is called as a Newton universal law of gravitation. According to this law, every object in the universe attracts every other object with a definite force. Here, diagram is given. There, one object is whose mass is m1, another object whose mass is m2. m1 apply the force F1, m2 apply the force F. These two objects are attract with each other with some definite force. The distance between these two objects is d. Then Newton said that what is the magnitude of that force? Here, magnitude of this force, magnitude of this attractive force is directly proportional to, this is a symbol of directly proportional to product of their masses. These masses, product of their masses, and it is inversely proportional to square of distance between them. What is the distance between them? It is a d. Then again I repeat the statement of Newton universal law of gravitation. A very important law is every object in the universe attract every other object. Here two objects are given with a definite force whose magnitude is directly proportional to product of their masses and inversely proportional to square of distance between them. Here, when we remove the directly proportional sign, what happens? There is one constant is arise. This constant is called as a Newton universal gravitational constant, or it is also called as a universal gravitational constant. This is constant, and this value of g is constant everywhere, and therefore it is called as a universal gravitational constant. So Newton universal law of gravitation, according to Newton universal law of gravitation, we can derive the formula of force. What is the force? F is equal to g m1 m2 divided by d square. m1 m2, it is a mass of two objects, and what is the d? D is the distance between these two objects. Then look this formula, F is equal to g m1 m2 divided by d square. What happens if mass is double? If mass get double, the attractive force is increases. If distance is increases, the force is decreases. Here, if distances get double, the force is decreases 4 times because here d square is present, and such a law is called as a Newton universal law of gravitation.